Once you've registered, please remember that you're always going to click into your Canvas course, the MyLab and Mastering, and then the Open MyLab and Mastering. Every time that you come into, into My Spanish Lab to complete work, you always want to start that process within Canvas. If you are clicking the Open MyLab and Mastering link and nothing is happening, please make sure you're allowing pop-ups. If you're using Google Chrome, sometimes you'll see a little X in the URL bar up here on the right, as well as sometimes over here on the left. You just want to click the little X, the little red X, and click Always Allow. If you are using Safari, please click on the Safari that's up here at the top of the page, click Tools, and then Security, and then Always Allow pop-ups, and that should open up this window for you, since everything in My Spanish Lab as well as in Canvas does open up in a new window. So again, once you're ready and you've registered and you're ready to log into My Spanish Lab, all you need to do is click the Open MyLab and Mastering link, and that's going to take you to the page that you see now. The first time, you want to make sure you click the Tune Up Your Browser link, and this will make sure that you have all of the software that you need for your computer. The most important one is the audio recorder. Some of the activities in My Spanish Lab do require you to record your voice, and you want to make sure you're prepared for that. So this is where you can start recording and test your computer, as well as download any software that's needed for the voice recording activities. And then also there's a pop-up, disable pop-up blocker as well. So this is a little tutorial that'll walk you through the steps. If you're using, Google Chrome or Safari or any of the other browsers, Firefox, it'll walk you through the steps to make sure that you are allowing pop-ups. All right, so once you've done that, please click into make sure you're at the student course home, click Go to Course, and that will then open up My Spanish Lab. So My Spanish Lab is the system that you're going to be using to complete homework. I'm going to close out of this. This is just reminding me about pop-ups in my browser. So this is where My Spanish Lab is where you're going to complete your homework online. When you first log in, this is the Today's view. You're going to notice that you have activities that are due within the Today's view. So if I open this up, you'll see the first thing you see is the calendar. And you notice down here at the bottom, so as an example, on June 25th, I have a little alarm clock. And that means that there are activities assigned for that date. So when you see this, that means that you have activities due. So in this case, I have activities due on June 25th. And all of your activities are going to be due at 5:30 p.m. on the date that you see them in the calendar. You also have access to tutorials. Your e-text is listed here as well, glossary and verb charts. We also have a user guide for students as well. You also have your overall performance, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but this is your overall performance within the course in My Spanish Lab at a given time. All right, so once I'm in the calendar, I see my calendar here, I see my activities, I've clicked on it, I see my activities that are due that day. All I have to do is click the detailed activity schedule, and then that will take me to the area where I can get started and start working on my activity. So I'm going to walk through a couple of different types of activities that you'll run into using My Spanish Lab. The first one is our general SAM activities. So with SAM activities, these are sometimes multiple choice questions, sometimes these are fill in the blank questions, but in this case you have 3 attempts per activity. And in this case, this is asking me to listen and then answer the question. So I'm just going to run through this real quick. You have 3 attempts, and the system is always going to score the highest of the 3 attempts. So that's going to be the default view in the gradebook. So I've clicked the first choice for this first question. The system's going to let me know if I got it incorrect or if I got it correct. If I got a couple incorrect, I can always go back and try again. I also have feedback as well. And this is the little conversation icon that pops up next to an incorrect answer. So once I've taken a look at what I've gotten incorrect, I've taken a look at my feedback, I can then click try again. I can then go through and answer again for any incorrect answer. And again, please keep in mind you have 3 attempts and the system's going to score the highest of the 3 attempts. So my score has now moved up from a 20 to a 40, so I have, again, one more shot at this. I also wanted to let you know you have, during the the try again option, you have this need help with this activity. This will link you out to areas in the textbook where this topic is being covered, so please make sure you take advantage of this. Sometimes it also has tutorials. If it's dealing with vocabulary or grammar, there's some tutorials as well as here. This does not count against you for using the help feature. It's just there to help you so you can score better on your next attempt. So now I can go through and select a different choice on any ones that I got incorrect. And this will be my third and last attempt. So my score moved from a 20 to an 80, whereas the 80 will be the score that is the default and what is counted in the grade book. Now if I click try again, it'll always let you know that there are no more attempts available. So now I've completed SAM 01-04. The next type of activity are the voice recording activities. So this is also listed as a SAM activity. You have multiple chances for this as well. But in case of the voice recordings, all you need to do, and I'll show you how this works, is when you start recording, and if you make a mistake, all you need to do is just stop it. And then you can re-record. And this will allow you to re-record over. So you can do this as many times as you want until you get the recording complete. Once you've completed it, just click the submit for grading. So the point of this is please don't submit it and then resubmit another time. You really only need to submit voice recordings one time. This way your instructor is only seeing the one submission, and they don't have to go through 3 submissions to figure out which one is the best one. So again, all you need to do is if you click the record button, it'll re-record over what you've already recorded a previous time. So if I made a mistake here, I could then click stop and then re-record over it. But if I like it, I can then click finish and submit for grading. This is submitted to your instructor to listen to as well as grade. All right. You also have extra practice activities. You'll see these listed as well. The main thing with extra practice, these count just like SAM activities. These do count as part of your grade, and you have the same 3 attempts. But some of these do require typing. So I just wanted to point out that you do have accent marks as well that you can use. If you're not using these, you will get docked half credit for certain answer choices that do require accent marks. You can always save for later as well. This is for the SAM activities as well as for extra practice. You can save for later. The next kind of activity you'll see are the live chat. These will come up in a little bit later in the semester. The live chat is our audio-video synchronous activities where it allows you to be in separate places from a classmate, and you guys are recorded both in video as well as audio, and it's then submitted to your instructor. So in this case, it'll give you some instructions on what to talk about, what types of questions to ask. Obviously, this would need to be in Spanish, and then you will then record both the audio and video, and that's submitted to your instructor. Please watch the See It in Action video. This is listed here. This will talk you through the exact steps that you'll need to take to complete a live chat activity. One of the 2 people that'll be recording, one person will be listed as the group leader, and the group leader has a couple of extra steps that their classmate doesn't. So please make sure you watch the See It in Action just to kind of walk through the steps, as well as the live chat diagnostic. Please make sure you do that just to make sure your audio and video and browser are compatible with the system. Okay, so we've gone through the different types of activities that you'll take within my Spanish lab. Notice again with the alarm clock, if I had an assignment due on the 24th, this alarm clock would have turned red. So the way the system works, and you can see an example right here of items past due, the system will allow you to complete an activity after the due date. However, it is recorded as a 0 unless your instructor accepts or declines that late submission. So your instructor gets reports each day on any submissions that were turned in after the due date, and that includes the time as well. And then they can then, with the appropriate reason why, they could then either accept or decline that. If they decline it, it is listed as a 0. If it is accepted, the score that you received on that item is then recorded in the grade book. You also have access to course materials. If you click the course materials tab, There might be some cases where you may want to view some extra activities for extra practice. The only thing that's counting towards your grade are things that have a due date on them, but each chapter in your book has folders here. So these are additional student activities. You also have learning tools and apps. So this has some flashcards. It has practice tests. So a lot of different, as well as grammar learning tools, as well as vocabulary learning tools. So a lot of different areas here and different activities that you can use to practice when you're in course materials. You also might be, in some cases, asked to watch a video, and if the video is not listed in the assignment calendar, you would just need to go to Course Materials, view all course materials, that specific chapter, and then the video resources, and then you'll then see the video files that you would then need to click on to watch the video. All right, I'm going to go back to my Today's view, and I'm going to click on the core overall performance. So if I click the detailed performance, this is going to tell me how I'm doing in my class overall. So this will give me my overall course grade, again, anything that has a due date on it, how much I've completed, and how much time I've spent, as well as total time spent. You can always click into the list of activities as well. So if I clicked Chapter 1, it's going to give me my overall score and how I've completed within Chapter 1. Please keep in mind, notice in this case, my last work was updated at 10 o'clock. So if I'd gone in and completed some work after 10 a.m., this would not be factored into my grade yet. The system updates every 2 to 3 hours. So please, if you've done a lot of work and you've gotten some hundreds, you don't see your grade increase right away, just give it a little time, check it a little bit later, and you'll see that has then updated your overall course grade. If at any point you do receive an error message while you're in My Spanish Lab, usually an error message will look something like this, where you get a server error, and it says Pegasus application. All you need to do is just close your windows, open up a new window, and then clear your browser history. So if you have any questions on that, you can always just Google Pearson 24/7 tech support, and you'll get some, and you can type in your error message and you'll get some support is there as well. But usually clearing out any cookies or your previous browser history will clear out any errors, and you can go back in. If you're still having issues, please take a screenshot of the error message. You can send that to your instructor, and then your instructor can get in contact with us at Pearson for tech support help, and we'll contact you with additional resources. All right, so if you guys have any questions, please feel free to contact us, and we look forward to working with you.